In this video, I'd like to introduce you to the major cards of my new deck. Here, I'd like to basically just kind of cover the the primary meanings and the give you a look at the cards. So here, the first card that we're going to start with is going to be the Fool card. The Fool card it really represents the main principle behind this card is that it is the birth of identity. It is an unconscious type of card, but it's the start of the journey. And with the major cards in this deck, basically all these cards have kind of a grouping of meanings. And so I'm going to group them together here. So here we have the Fool, and then next we're going to talk about the next 5 cards, which are spiritual laws that the cards outline. Here, the first one is the Magician. The Magician is the card of the law of manifestation. Nothing happens to us ever until we've made a choice. And so this card represents a choice. The High Priestess is the area of feelings and emotions, but it is the card of the seer. Inside of each one of us, there is the spirit of who we are that communicates via intuition and visions along with feelings and emotions. That card represents this. The Empress is the law of earthly cycles, earthly things that happen. If the apple falls off the tree, it hits the ground type thing. Here, this also represents that if you put a wheat seed in the ground, you get a wheat plant. You don't get an oak tree. It is the common laws that everybody just understands about how our reality works. The Emperor is the intellectual side. So this would be the earth side, the body side, but this would be the intellectual side. This is a cause and effect. This is where it goes a little bit deeper in understanding that if you touch something hot, you're going to get burnt. The Hierophant is the card that brings in the social aspect that we're not here alone. This is the card that would bring in the element of the golden rule or the commandments that we follow as a society. These 5 cards tend to be spiritual rules, very common spiritual rules, which lead into the next 2 cards, which show us the Lover in the Chariot. The Lovers card is basically, both these cards are a way of being. You get to choose how you live your life. You get to choose what type of activity you're going to do. You can choose to have experiences of the heart. You can choose to have experiences of the mind. This would represent the heart and the feelings. This would represent the intellect and the ego. From this, we move on to the next set of cards, which a lot of people talk about as being the moral cards. I'm going to talk about here as being the 6 principles. And with the 6 principles, these again are guidelines on how to live your life. So the first one's going to be the law of doing no harm. The second one would be the Hermit, which is going to be the law of self-rule, self-governance, and the fact that all things happen in their own time. The Wheel of Fortune is the law of free will. The Justice is the law of being fair and no undue burdens on others. The Hanged Man is a social card, which represents that if you improve the lives of others, your life is going to be improved too. Death is the law of non-permanence. Everything in life always changes. Without change, there's no growth. So this outlines the basic principles from the unconscious through the spiritual laws into a little bit more conscious activity, which lead us to the next set of cards, which tends to go to being a little bit more active and being in the realm of practice. So the next 3 cards are the realm of practice. Here's where we practice how to use our emotions and feelings. We practice how to use our body. We practice how to use our mind or ego. In each case, this is the action of going in and exploring how it is that we can do what we do and be in harmony with these attributes, which would be the heart, the body, and the mind. Every action that we do, everything that we do is all driven by light. We are light beings. And so the next 3 cards represents where our power comes from. Here, the star represents individual power. It represents that we are a star amongst billions. This is the inner knowing of knowing that we have our own energy. It comes from within. It is what we can use to do our individual little things. The moon energy is a reflective light energy. It is a subtler, cooler one. You don't feel it as much as a direct light. The moonlight is illusionary. It gives you the essence of something being there without the full spectrum behind it. It's kind of like the green light that shines off a leaf. You just see the green light. You don't get the whole richness of the spectrum. It leads to more into the feeling realm. You have to work harder at understanding what's going on there. The sun is the bright, direct light that we feel. It has all the rays. It has everything that's needed for life. It is what fills our batteries. It's what drives our awareness of the situation. It makes clarity in everything that we do. The next card, so here's our action cards and our power cards. The next card really says, no matter where you are, whether it's unconscious activity or more conscious activity, we are responsible for our own actions. This card plays out saying that no matter what we do, wherever we do it, there always is a reaction to whatever we're doing. The last card is the World card. This is the card of awareness. It is the mirror for the Fool being unconscious. The world is going to be conscious. The world represents the state at which you have some form of mastery. You have practiced the different ways of using our earthly experience. You've used the power to find some type of mastery, some type of conclusion, some way to be able to continually reproduce the same results by your action. With all these cards, I've shown you all the upright positions here. The upright positions are the harmonious interaction with that particular principle or state. As soon as you flip the card over, then we start seeing the inharmonious state. So the inharmonious state of the world would be a case where you still aren't showing mastery. You're still working with the cards, but you're not able to get the conclusions that you're looking for. Maybe you can't reproduce the problems. Maybe you find that you're not finding awareness to what you're going on. You're not paying close enough attention. But anyway, that was just a brief introduction to these cards. If you like this, stick around and I'll create a couple more videos and show you the suits.